Hey, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about quadrants and reflections, and it's the relationship that ordered pairs will have, okay? So the first word that we have up here for our definition is quadrants. Okay, a quadrant, it's the four regions of a coordinate plane that are separated by the x and y axis. So in your math journals, you guys should have a coordinate plane drawn. We're going to label some parts of this, and I'm going to tell you what the quadrants' names are, okay? So before we start, I want to know which one is the x-axis and the y-axis. Touch your nose if you know the difference between the x-axis and the y-axis. How do we remember it? Which one is the y-axis? Tell me how we remember it. Everyone tell me.
Why are you so tall?
Why are you so tall? So let's go ahead and label our x-axis and our y-axis. So I have my y-axis and I have my x-axis, right? Why are you so tall? I'm going to tell you the names of the quadrants. It's really hard and really high-tech. Hi. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so the quadrant names. Are you ready? It's quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. I know. Here are the quadrants. Yes, my dear, what do you need? Great. Thank you. Okay, here are the quadrants, and when we write them with Roman numerals. You are welcome to write with me as I write. My first quadrant is quadrant 1, and I know that the x value is positive and the y value is positive for my ordered pair. I need all of this to be in your math journal. With quadrants, we actually go counterclockwise, so I'm going to move next door to the left into quadrant 2. And I know that my x value is negative and my y value is positive. And then I drop down to my third quadrant, quadrant 3, and both the x and the y are negative. And then finally I have quadrant 4. It's an I and a V, and my x value is positive and my y value is negative. Okay. So these are the quadrants. We have quadrant 1, 2, 3, and quadrant 4. Today in your assignment, you are going to be given points to write down. So, for example, I have point negative 2.5 and positive 3. So what you're going to be asked to do with today's assignment is you're going to look at the quadrants. You're going to look at the point and you're going to say, what quadrant would negative 2.5 and 3 fall into? I want you to touch your nose as soon as you see what quadrant it would be. Whisper it into your hand if you know what quadrant it will be in. Throw it out on 3. 1, 2, 3. 2! Yeah, so it's in quadrant 2. So we're going to write a 2 with Roman numerals. Okay? I have one more point up here. It's positive 2 and 1.5. Positive 1.5. So I want you guys to look at the quadrants and point to what quadrant this point will be in. Will it be in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4? Point to it. Okay, tell me which one it is.
1.
It's in quadrant 1. Okay, so that's the first part of your assignment. It's quadrants. Thumbs up if you know how to work quadrants. Not hard, right? So now I want to talk to you about the second part of our assignment. Oh, and on the side we're going to write quadrants so that way we know in our math journal what part it is. We're going to talk about the second part, which is going to be a reflection. Quadrants and reflections. Okay, so in our math journal, we have a definition. It's the line of symmetry. The line of symmetry, it's a line that divides a figure into two halves that are a reflection of each other. Raise your hand if you've heard of that word before, reflection. Okay, I want you to think in your mind if you've ever seen your reflection and what you've seen your reflection in. I want to know 3 things that we can see our reflection in. Tell me 3 things that you can see our reflection in. Tell me one of them, Alyssa.
A mirror.
A mirror. Is there anything else that you can see your reflection in? Andy?
Water.
Water. Yeah, we can see it in water. And then last one, Leslie.
In the metal.
Yeah, in metal. Okay. So my favorite place that I can see my reflection is in my phone when I'm taking a selfie, right? So I'm going to do a class selfie. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no. We're going to turn it around. Turn it around. Turn it around some more. There we go. Class selfie. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Back in your seats. Everyone's back in your seats in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I can see a reflection of my class. Ooh, that's a scary picture. Okay. So I can see a reflection of my class, okay? So what I did was it was a camera that we use right here. So I had my camera and I went up and I can see Bryker. Bryker's right behind me. I can see Bryker really well. Okay, there he is. Okay. So I can see Bryker really well. So in my reflection, when I look at Bryker, who do I see? Bryker. Are you sure? Like when I'm taking a picture and I'm taking a picture of Bryker in there, am I not, like if I look at my spot where Bryker should be, am I really seeing John?
No.
No. In Bryker's seat is Bryker, right?
Yeah.
So a reflection, it shows you what is originally there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So a line of symmetry, it's a line that's going to divide a figure in half. And so when you divide it in half, like you're going to see the exact same thing. I have a picture, or I have a heart. Does a heart have a line of symmetry in it?
Yes.
If I fold this in half, can I see an identical half?
Yes.
Okay, ready? Is this a line of symmetry?
No.
Tell your partner why this isn't a line of symmetry. Okay, I need all eyes up here in 3, 2, and 1. If I were to take a mirror and place it right here and have this top half facing my mirror, I would have like a butterfly, right? If I flipped it and I had my mirror in the same place and I was reflecting it, I'd have a shape thing. It's not a butterfly. I don't know what it is. Okay, but can this heart, is there a line on this heart that I can use to turn it into a line of symmetry? Yes or no? Okay, tell me, is this a line of symmetry right here? Yes. Okay, so today, this is what we're working with. It's not a heart, but we're working on our coordinate grid, okay? We're working on our coordinate grid to do a line of symmetry so that we get a reflection across one of the axes. I don't know if axis is a word, but that's what I'm saying. Okay, so in your math journal, the first thing I want you guys to do is write down how we write an ordered pair. An ordered pair, it has two letters, X and Y. Who comes first, the X or the Y? X, so that means that Y is second, right? So I'm going to give you guys a point, all right? The point is +1, +2. Go ahead and write that down with me. And then in your graph, or on your coordinate plane, we do need a couple places so that we can graph +1, +2, and do some reflections. Okay. And before I graph it, we're gonna color in a couple of things. The first thing that I want you guys to mark is we're gonna pick one color, and it's going to represent X. Okay. So I have X, and I am working on the X axis. That's the reflection I'm going to be doing. And so I am going to underline my X in my point of 1 and 2. Does that make sense? So then I want you to take your other color, which is Y, and I'm going to underline my Y for my Y axis, and then I'm going to underline the value of Y. Okay, so can everyone see how the value of X is 1, and then the value of Y is 2? Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Like that makes sense in the brain of the 6th grade you, right? Okay, so as soon as your math journal matches my math journal, I want you to put your pencils down and then look up here, because we're going to talk about a couple things. Do not write with me. I'll give you a chance to write, but do not write with me yet, okay? All right, so first I'm going to graph this point. +1, +2. So I'm going to go to the right 1 and up 2. I hear pencils, but I shouldn't. Okay. Did I graph this correctly? Yes. I'm going to label my axis, my x-axis and my y-axis. What axis is this one?
X.
Which one?
X.
Which one's this one?
Y.
Why are you so tall, right? Okay, so now, if I'm going to do a reflection across the x-axis, okay, across the x-axis, everyone knows which one the x-axis is. So that means that I would be taking like a mirror, and I would be shining it up here. If I were to do a reflection, and remember, it's like folding it in half like this. If here's my dot is going to be in a similar place, right? If I'm going to pick a spot for this to go, it's going to be in a fairly similar place. It's not like I can be like, oh yeah, my reflection is totally over here. That's like saying, here is Riker. Wow, surprise. Not right now. Sorry, honey. Here is Riker. Oh my gosh, he turned into John. Does that make sense? That's like when you're reflecting, it needs to be a similar reflection. Like it still needs to be the same person that I'm seeing in the picture. Like this is 3D, and then this is the picture of Riker. Okay, and then this is John. Hi, John. Okay. He's happy. All right. So when I reflect it, I am not going to move. I'm not going to move any more to the right. I'm not going to move any more to the left. I'm not going to stay right where I'm at. But since I moved up 2, in my reflection, I'm just going to move down 2. So it's the same thing. Like it's the line of symmetry. So it's the same on both sides. It's the same distance away from X. 2 places up, 2 places down. It's the same place away from X. So now I have a new point. I want you to think in your mind, what is that point? Is it, don't say it out loud, is it 0, 0? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? What's this new point? Think in your mind. Touch your nose when you know what this new point is. I have a new point. My new point, as I look at it, I move to the right 1 time. And then I move down twice, so it's going to be a -2. Okay? So what I want everyone to do right now is look, and I'm going to underline my X again. I shouldn't hear anybody talking. I'm going to underline my X again. I want you just to look. Don't write. You're going to get a chance to write. Don't write. Just look. What do you notice about the numbers, the positives, the negatives, similars, opposites, X's, and Y's? What do you notice about these 2 ordered pairs? The original point and the reflection. Tell your partner 3 things that you notice right now.
I noticed that
5 more seconds. Okay, I need all eyes up here in 3, 2, and 1. What are 3 things that we notice about this? Just anything that you notice. Really? You've had all that time and you didn't notice anything? Riker, tell me one thing that you've noticed.
They both have commas.
Okay, they both have commas. What else? Serena.
They're on the same side, the x-axis.
They're on the same side of the x-axis?
Well, like
They're not on this. They're on opposite sides of the x-axis. Here's the x-axis. One's above and one's below. What are they on the same side as? What axis are they on the same side as, you guys? The y. They're both on the same. They were both on the right side of the y-axis. What else do we notice? Eric. What do you notice about these numbers?
one's a positive, one's a negative.
One's a positive, one's a negative when we're talking about the 2s. One's a positive 2, one's a negative 2. Is there anything else that we notice, Jihu?
The 1 stays the same.
Yeah, the 1 stays the same, okay? And 1 is actually in the x place, in the value of x, okay? So we keep x the same. So what I want you guys to notice about this one is when it is being reflected, everyone pay attention, this is part of your assignment. When it's being reflected across the x-axis, the value of x stays the same, okay? What we change is the value of y, and it's not like I'm going from a 2 to a 7. That would be like Riker to John. It's still Riker, but one's 3D, one's the picture, okay? So I want you to think in your mind and make a prediction. Don't write yet. You're going to get your chance to write. I want you to make a prediction. I have a y-axis. We're reflecting the same point across the y-axis. I want you to make a prediction based off of the x-axis. What do you think is going to happen with my y-axis? Just make a prediction in your mind. Let's find out if it's true. Okay, so now I'm going to come back up to my coordinate plane. And here's my original point. Okay, here's my original point. And I'm going to reflect it across the y-axis, so I have to jump across the y-axis. I'm not going to move down or up. I'm just going to move over. And I moved over 1 place from the y-axis, so I'm going to move over 1 place from the y-axis in the opposite direction. Okay, so I have a new point here. I want you to think in your mind, what is this point? Look at the coordinate plane. Okay, my new point is -1, +2. Tell your partner what you notice about these points. Go. Hey, I need all eyes up here in 3,